morning, everybody. Welcome to Jitterbit Breakfast with an Executive. I am Greg Belkin, Senior Director of Product Marketing at Jitterbit. Breakfast with an Executive is Jitterbit's off-the-cuff, no preparing allowed, fun and relaxed executive catch-up time. It's really my favorite time of the day because the kids are back at school, my wife is back at work, the cats are fast asleep on the couch, and I have my favorite morning coffee drink in my Suffolk University mug, and I'm ready to go. This morning, I have the man, Charles Nardi, here with me. Charles is the SVP and GM of Vinyl Low-Code Technology here at Jitterbit. Charles, welcome to Breakfast with an Executive.
Morning, Greg. Thanks. I've already had my coffee up early today, so I'll be getting my second one shortly. I have no kids at home. I'm an empty nester with my wife and the dog, so it's quiet time. Just cleared up my calendar for a while, so good to talk to you. It's been about 7 months since the acquisition of Zudi and Vinyl into Jitterbit, and things have been great, and it's exciting to talk to you today and hopefully share some of our experiences and talk about low code a little bit.
All right, awesome. That sounds great, and I'm totally jealous and not jealous at the same time that you're an empty nester. I love my kids, but they're a lot of work. So look,
The next day.
Yeah. So look, getting down to the topic here, Charles, let's talk a little bit about Vinyl. Vinyl is the way we talk about Vinyl is what it is. And it's really an enterprise low-code application platform that really makes it very easy to build scalable end-to-end apps that can be integrated with new and existing systems. And that's really the beauty of it. But I think I want to know more, and I think our listeners want to know more. So I have a few questions for you. Yeah. First off, we often describe Vinyl as, as I mentioned, a solution for large enterprises to solve complex business problems at scale. What does that exactly mean? Can you be more specific on what that means?
Yeah, Greg, I think, the word apps has a funny connotation, right? People think of apps on their phone. We think of applications as business process applications, digital automation, workflows, dashboards, transaction systems. And so when we talk about where Vinyl helps, it's really coming into an organization and being an alternative approach to custom development. Companies have their core systems of record today, right? They have SAP, they have Salesforce, they have old systems and new systems. Those are their data sources. But still, transactions and systems and processes that don't happen in their core systems have to get done in some sort of custom application. George, our CEO of Jitterbit, calls them gap applications, things that are done outside of your core systems, maybe in a spreadsheet, maybe in a Google Doc, in some sort of manual system, or maybe a custom-built application. Vinyl looks at an application as three components. There's the data. You have to, an application has data, that's the fuel. There's the business logic, what is the algorithms and logic that puts the data together? And then what's the output of that application in the user experience, in the interface for the persona? So if there's a use case where you're trying to take data from one or multiple systems, you're trying to put logic around it to create an output, and then put it into a custom persona user interface, that's what Vinyl does. Full stack development environment, but you can build things like that in weeks very fast because there's a lot of intellectual property in Vinyl. It's kind of like, you're not using a hammer anymore, you're using a pneumatic nailer. So you can, I'm a carpenter and I can do my job faster and more efficient because I have a more powerful tool. And it's just an alternative approach to traditional development, getting the same results faster with a lot of intellectual property in the platform.
Got it. So an alternative approach to development, that's interesting. So that has a pretty big impact on both the IT team and the citizen developer who may not have an IT background, but still has a pretty good familiarity with how their their organization and their department works and shares data. Can you talk a little bit about how Vinyl specifically affects each of those roles? Because I got to imagine it changes the game for both.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Greg. We hear it all the time. First of all, let me say this. When we created Vinyl and the methodology around Agile, the whole idea was to bring the business and the IT closer together, right? However that might be in an organization. A lot of traditional methodologies like waterfall, write specs, write technical documents, have that passed on to a group, they develop, and in a period of time, they get something back. We believe in iterative development, where having a tool lets the developer, whoever that might be, the citizen developer, the professional developer, get closer to the business and really build iteratively with feedback and testing during the design and build process. That's the idea behind a low-code platform. Who uses the platform can span. We have, I'd say 50% of our customer base has professional engineers and full stack developers that learn and have loved Vinyl. They might initially be resistant because they're not writing code, and they have to make that leap of faith to no code or low code. Once they go through training and they get assimilated to the platform, we see the adoption is really high, and it becomes another tool in their arsenal. Doesn't mean it has to replace everything they do, but they quickly realize what swim lanes and use cases that Vinyl is good for. In addition, we have a lot of citizen developers, and I think of a citizen developer as a business analyst, somebody today who's good at using spreadsheets, writing macros, doing pivot tables. They understand data. They understand relationships of data. They're not just somebody who's using Microsoft Word all day, but there's somebody who has some understanding of data concepts, data modeling, that then wants to learn and become a developer. And with time, they can learn the basics of Vinyl, typically in a 3-day training class. And then as they practice, they can become more proficient. So we built Vinyl to be adopted by a large group of people, including our own professional services team, which has professional engineers and business analysts on our team. And we treat it the same for clients. The whole idea is that whoever in the organization is part of their Vinyl development team, it's bringing that methodology of business and IT closer together in a better development approach.
Mm-hmm. Great. Charles, can you talk a little bit about what Vinyl means for existing Jitterbit Harmony customers? You've been a part of the Jitterbit family for a while now, and the tech really, kind of melds well together. Can you talk a little bit about, if I'm a Jitterbit Harmony customer, what does Vinyl mean to me?
Yeah, it's adding an additional capability. Today we have a lot of customers that have an iPaaS solution, and we look at Harmony as a data source. So, in the past, we might have gone directly to an endpoint like Salesforce and received data, or NetSuite and received data, where now Harmony's connecting those systems and can create an API endpoint. Vinyl can consume that endpoint and then use that data to build an application, a use case off of that data and expand the capabilities. So first of all, it gives Vinyl enhanced data connection capabilities by using the Harmony iPaaS solution. And it also expands the capabilities of Harmony, where we can take those data connections and then those endpoints and continue to expand that functionality in more business process and use cases. Mm-hmm. In addition, with the Harmony EDI solution, we have a number of examples where Vinyl is consuming EDI documents as part of data to help, provide workflows or analysis or even interaction between customers and vendors in EDI solutions. So Vinyl fits nicely, I think, into the Jitterbit stack of technologies, and we're happy to help customers understand where we can add some additional value into what they're doing today.
Awesome. All right, I've got one last question for you, and then I'll let you go.
Do it.
One of the privileges I've had here at Jitterbit in the last couple of weeks is being out on the road with you and seeing some of our clients. And we've spent some time within the life sciences field, the life sciences industry. Can you talk a little bit about how vinyl has really made a difference in that industry? That's an industry where getting data right is absolutely crucial, and the sharing of data and the management of data into the organization. So can you talk a little bit about vinyl from a life sciences industry perspective?
Yeah, Greg, for sure. Because it's licensed, customers, like a lot of our life science customers, have the ability to install vinyl on physical servers on-prem. They can also host it in their private cloud. So there's deployment options which give that flexibility in a high compliant industry. Vinyl also is built with all the features of a compliant large enterprise. So audit trails, chain of custody, release management across 3 environments, everything is auditable. There's all the controls that, when you're testing your protocols, you can deploy vinyl in a compliant fashion for GMP and both non-GMP applications. Vinyl, again, because of the way we lightly integrate to data, we're not persisting data, we're reading data and writing data between systems of record, fits nicely into a life sciences organization because it doesn't add complexity of data lineage and data persistency and complex integrations that the pharmaceutical customers face. Mm-hmm. One other way to think about it is a lot of our life science customers, we met them when they were small. They might have been startup, even pre-commercial, and vinyl added a alternative. Let's say we might have built them their HRIS system until they were big enough to have a lot of employees and have an HRIS system. So vinyl can also be an interim solution before a customer buys a large off-the-shelf system to support their needs. And again, kind of work nicely in a flexible way to what the customer needs. Because we also license to unlimited users and unlimited applications, our pricing model has been very successful in adoption, and that's helped us really make traction in all sorts of industries.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, that's my last question. It's now getting a little bit past breakfast time, so I have to go get myself together for actual work. So thank you so much, Charles. This has been great. And thank you, everybody, for joining in for another Breakfast with an Executive. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Greg. A lot of fun.